Hello, great people. Welcome back to our channel. Buhari has finally reacted to the seizure, or let me say revocation, of his landed property in Abuja. You get to hear the content, but shockingly, Nigerians have come after Garbau Shehu and also made reference to some of the things that have been mentioned, or some of the things that are mentioned in the press statement. And apart from just that, so many other issues have been raised, which we're going to be looking at in a jiffy. Then, according to the press statement released by Garbau Shehu, the media person to Buhari, he says, nothing like loss of Buhari land in Abuja. The way the write-up is wonderful. He went further to say, as with anything Buhari, and there is no surprise in this at all, there is a lot of buzz in the media on a reported seizure of a piece of land by the authorities of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, FCTA, allegedly belonging to former President Muhammadu Buhari. The former president is personally not the owner of the said plot of the land, which is allocated in the name Muhammadu Buhari Foundation. The foundation was itself floated by some utilitarian individuals around him who, it must say, went about it in a lawful manner with the support of a number of well-meaning persons. But they ran into a roadblock in the land department of the FCDA, which handed them an outrageous bill for the issuance of the certificate of occupancy, very high in cost, that did not at all compare with the bill given to similar organization. It may have been that this was not erroneous, but a deliberate mistake, making revocation of the land no surprise to anyone. As a person, the former president has a plot of land to his name in Abuja. When he and his cabinet members were invited to fill the forms and obtain land during his tenure in office, he returned the form without filling it, saying that he already had a plot of land in the FCT that those who did not have should be given. He therefore turned down the offer. So please, let all those jumping up and down in the digital space talking about the rightfulness or the lack of it on the reported seizure of Buhari's land in Abuja get their facts right and stop dragging down the name of the former President Garbau Shehu, 19 December 2024. Now, interestingly, the write-up for many people was so erroneous in terms of a lot of things that were not right, even the topic. But however, one of the issues that Nigeria has really flogged, which is a dash, or what I say is very bad for the reputation of Buhari, or let me say for his administration, was the fact that he knew that something was wrong. And despite the fact that one of his blueprints was to fight corruption, he didn't do anything about it. Now listen to this. They said, but they ran into a roadblock, according to the press statement, they said, but they ran into a roadblock in the land department of the FCDA, which handed them an outrageous bill for the issuance of the certificate of occupancy, very high in cost, that did not at all compare with the bill given to similar organization. It may have been that this was not erroneous, but a deliberate mistake, making the revocation of the land no surprise to anyone. Now, you knew about this. Why were these people not called to order, or possibly you demand explanation? Why should Buhari Foundation land, that is the cost of the certificate of occupancy, be higher than other foundations? That is one big question that Nigerians have been talking about. That's one issue Nigerians have been talking about. If you knew about it and you know that Buhari is out to fight corruption, and this one was done on something related to him, normally as the president, all those people who are involved would have faced EFCC, and they would have been prompt, investigation into the issue of certificate of occupancy, the fee. Why is it so high? Why is it different? And before you know, we'll get that one right. Which means, unfortunately, sorry to say, maybe the president, Buhari, was not even interested, the former president wasn't even interested in fixing the country in terms of kicking out corruption. Because that kind of roadblock, according to him, was there. But nothing was done to correct it. I mean, it's really shocking and troubling to hear this, that the president overlooked an act which, would I say, pointed at corruption, despite the fact that he was the president of Nigeria. And then Garbau Shehu in the press statement ended up that maybe it was a deliberate act. It was erroneous, that based on what he saw, that it wasn't erroneous, but a deliberate mistake, making revocation of the land no surprise to anyone. But you forgot that the person who is sitting as the FCT minister now was not an FCT minister then. And secondly, the other guy who was there had his own issues, and he didn't pass it on to Wike to help him fix it. Both of them were not in the same boat in terms of, relationship. So what do you mean by that? It doesn't make any sense. If you ask me, I don't know about any other person, but for me, this is totally a way of exposing Buhari himself. This is a way of showing how negligent he was, as it has to do with his responsibility as the president of the country. It bothers me, and a lot of people are castigating the press statement that this is not coming from Buhari, because I don't think that ordinarily, with the reputation of the president, one will wake up and write this kind of thing. I'm wondering if this write-up is from Mr. President himself, or possibly trusted Garbau Shehu to give a very reasonable piece out there, and we ended up with this. However, it's important to note that according to him, the president had only one land, in Abuja, and did not seek for any other landed property. For me, that's a big plus to him. But I think that he wasn't really fixing Nigeria, or fixing the issue of corruption was not a priority in his list, such that the corruption went against him somehow. The carry out corruption was so eminent in his regime, to a point that even when such was done on him or something related to him, he didn't even bother to question it. He allowed it to fly, because the way Garbau Shehu is talking is as though the president was already in the know about such a thing, but decided to be quiet. Maybe that was the reason they had a plan of revoking the land. Say they have revoked the land, no wahala now, make them take their land and go. In a position of authority like that, you have opportunity to correct something, and you were behaving as if you're not interested. It's well. I think that with some of the things that have happened in the country, or let me put it this way: if Nigeria could happen to a president, then the other members of the society, unfortunately, who went through any act of corruption or any influence of corruption, they wouldn't have done better, because even the president had gone through it also. We'd like to leave it there. What's your position in respect to the write-up of Garbau Shehu, as it has to do with the, according to him, loss of land that was attributed to